Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Lanmoutarot. This is a little interlude in between our weekly messages. As you can see, there's been a gap there, and it's truly been that my energy's been, I won't say all over the place, but I've been going through a little bit of a shift here, okay? It's been just about a month since I get my Reiki Master Attunement, and it's been after each attunement I've had for Reiki that I go through an ascension process, if you will. And the second one, the one before this last one, was the most I would say severe, as far as like the things, the energies that I was feeling, and the shadow work that I had to do, and all of that. But this one, it's hitting me a little bit differently and quite unexpectedly, really. And I don't know if you guys remember, for the second week reading for September, I keep saying that full moon in Sense of Time just flipped up here. That full moon in Pisces is going to allow all the subconscious and deep seated feelings and emotions, hidden aspects of ourselves that we want to keep remain suppressed, that we don't want to really engage with, that we don't really want to deal with. They're going to be coming up to the surface. It's a time for us to try to release them, to allow them to come up to the surface, and to release the ones that we don't want to, that no longer serve us, that we don't really want to carry with us in this journey. And I feel, for me, I felt that energy. It was very strange, because it's not so much that those deep-seated feelings had come to the surface for me. It's more like I could feel them brewing underneath the surface. Do you understand? It's kind of like that water that's just before it gets to boiling point, you can see the little bubbles and stuff. That's what it was, like those little bubbles like coming all over. Like I could feel that. I could feel the energy just like deep seated, like all the way deep within me, kind of like brewing, but not really coming to the surface, almost like daring me to allow it, daring me to bring it to the surface, if you will. And 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 and, and it's the strangest thing, though, the way it actually happened, the way it actually surfaced for me. And I'm so interested to hear from you guys. And if you're watching this kind of videos, like, tarot reading, looking for spiritual advice, working on your own spiritual development, so I know you do have some kind of sensitivities to energy, okay? That means a lot of you are already empaths. A lot of you are very intuitive, just like every single one person in this planet is, because we're all spiritual beings. It's just a lot of us are not aware. We haven't come into the awareness of it. We haven't developed the skill sets. We haven't, worked out these muscles that is basically the majority part of us, of who we are, like spiritual light beings. And that's why so many of us are walking around feeling lost and just completely going through the motion, if you will. Not to get off track here, but anyways, the way those emotions, those feelings came up for me. So if you guys are experiencing things like that, please comment or send a private message, if you will. It was more like a almost like someone whispering a secret into my ear, but it was me whispering that secret to myself. The way those download, it was like, I don't think I've had downloads like that since I've become awakened, if you will. And it was like the strangest thing. So it started with, and a question for me, kind of like, and it's a question that actually that that I was asking myself when I was in the lowest of lows a couple of years ago. And before I really stepped into that journey, before I really start delving deeper, before I really start, reading, finding out, and delving into deep spirituality, it was, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you here? What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? What are you doing this? Well, why are you working there? What are you doing? That's what I kept asking myself, because there was a point I felt so lost, like that little ant that's lost from the colony, from all their friends, would now forget, like, what am I working on? What are we supposed to be working on? Where are we supposed to go? Trying to remember what was the plan all along, and turning in circle, that little ant turning in circle, and in this big world, and just feeling completely lost. But through it all, I always could feel the light within. Okay, even when I was so lost, I always knew that I had that strength. I had that light of God, that I was being watched. I was that little tiny little ant, but I know that I was seen. I knew that I was protected some way, somehow. I don't know how. So I know if you guys are in that moment, you're feeling lost, you're feeling a sense of confusion, you're feeling overburdened, you're feeling any kind of disillusionment with your life, your path, your journey, just know you are seen. You really just have to believe it, to really step up your faith, meditate on it. Okay, ask for signs, and the signs will be there for you. And for me, and that's how the it started for me. Okay, my full moon in Pisces, deep Neptunian journey, like in asking that question. Okay, what am I doing? And I feel like I'm going to ask you guys to ask yourself that question. What are you doing? Ask yourself, what am I doing? The things I do every day on the daily, why do I do them? Are they bringing me closer to the person I want to be? Are they bringing me closer to my higher self? Are they, what am I doing? What can I change? Those little things, not so much the big things, but the little things. Like, for example, for me, at my lowest point, I almost lost my job. Like, a job that I've been doing for over 10 years, over 12, actually 14 years at that time. So, and it was just like, and it was like that one thing that I was laser focused on, that was bringing me down, that was sucking my energy down. It ended up impacting every aspect of my life, including my health, okay, my job, my career, my family life, everything. And when I started asking, what are you doing? And I had to make some drastic decisions. There were things that I was working on I had to give up. There were things that I thought that's what I was supposed to do. A career that I worked so hard on, separate from what I was doing and still doing now, that I had to walk away from. Like, so people that I thought would be part of my journey, that have been part of my journey, that I had to basically kind of like distance myself from, if you will. So there's been like all of that. And it was major for me, and for some of you, you may feel like you have to make drastic steps like that, but for the majority of you, it really won't be necessary once you start asking yourself these questions, because a lot of it is perspective, a lot of it is the way we think, a lot of it is the way we see ourselves in the world. Okay, once you truly started to believe that, you understand what it is to be a light being, you understand what it is to be a spiritual being, like you're made of light, that you're connected to everything and everyone else. You really understand yourself, you appreciate yourself, because you see yourself just like God sees you, a child of God, of the divine, and that abundance is yours if you really want it. That we create our own reality with our thoughts, with our own emotions, the things that we feel, we're passionate about, that we give our thoughts to, that we give our actions, our energy to. Okay, consciously and subconsciously, once you realize all of this, it really changes your perspective. It really makes you realize that you are more in control than you realize, and at the same time, you're not in control at all. And hence the duality of us, right? Spiritual being living in the physical world, right? And it's the same way. We have a lot of controls about certain things, but at the same time, yes, there is such a thing as destiny. There's a lot of things that if it's not good for us, it's not towards a path. You can try to manifest it. Yes, you can. You can try to call it in. You may get a version of it, but it may not be exactly what you're asking for, because the divine God, your protectors, your ancestors, the benevolent spirits of this world, they will protect you. Okay, those that are assigned to you to protect you, they will make sure that the decisions that you make are aligned to you, to your higher self, to your best and highest good, and for those around you as well. So I'm saying all this. I've been asking myself all over again, what am I doing? And for me, the way the answer came that allowed that transformation to really start during this time was not so much the actions or the what am I doing, but the intentions behind the things that I'm doing. Okay, for me it was another layer on top of layers. It was the intentions behind what am I doing. So it's again starting from scratch again. Okay, why did I set out to do this? Why am I doing this? What is the intentions behind them? And it allowed me to really ground myself all over again, ground myself again in my reality, ground myself again in my own authenticity, ground myself again into the bigger picture, into the bigger world, ground myself again into how why I started in this journey, ground myself again into the purpose of it all. Okay, and my purpose, which is again the same as the purpose of all humanity. And and the funny thing is, oh my goodness, it's on my phone. I should have screenshot it so I could share it with you guys, which is the main reason I decided to make this video, which I've been thinking about for quite a bit. But I have I'm subscribed to this little daily awareness a website, and they sent you daily quotes, if you will. And today, the one that I received, the email I received was, "What are you serving?" And it was so interesting. And when I went into it, oh, I so wish right now I could read it for you, and maybe I will post it in the comment. And it was kind of like we go through life praying, even those of us that are spiritual, asking, manifesting, and wanting to do things to attain that enlightenment, that higher level of awareness, right? To better ourselves, if you will. And there are times when we need to stop, and there will be a time when we must stop and ask ourselves, what are we serving? Not so much what we can get from the world, not so much what we can manifest into the world, but also what are we manifesting for the world, if you will. It's like that quote, right, from Kennedy, like, not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country. And it was kind of like that same theme it had, and it was like three separate quotes, but they were all basically saying the same thing. What are we serving, right? And by the way, this is the Akashic Tarot. I'm going to start shuffling. So it basically asking, what are you serving? Why are you doing? It's not just about you. This world, this experience, this physical experience. It's not just for us to receive, but it's also for us to be of service to the divine. We all co-workers. We all work in concert with the, with the angelic forces, with the higher forces of the universe, to perfect God's creation. Okay. And what is our part, and are we working our part? Do we understand our part in creation? Not just having kids just to have kids, to say we have kids, but to what is our part? What is our purpose as part of co-creators in this universe? Okay. And that was the challenging questions that brought me like to almost like to the climax, okay, of this whole series I feel like I've been going through for the past month. It was kind of like, what are you doing? What are the intentions behind what you're doing? And what exactly are you serving? And if I think I've mentioned that before on this channel, like even 2 years ago, if you have asked me if I would be doing this, I would just laugh at you. I would, and it's not because it's foreign to me. It's not because I've always been very sensitive. I've always been I've always been an empath. I've always been a spiritual person. Before I knew that I was. Now I can look back of the way I think of things, the way I process things, the way I react to things, the things I used to do, the things that I just instinctively, intuitively knew that I realized, oh, this was a gift. This means something, like, And so I know now I always was, but I would never have guessed that, I could be doing this, doing reading for people, being a Reiki master, being able to provide healing for other people. I thought that was a special gift some special people are born with, that, like, that makes you, like, very eccentric and different and, you know, out there. I didn't know it was a skill set. I didn't know it was something that I actually have, that you have, that all of you us have. Okay, being able to tap to that life force energy. So I bring this up. And look at this. Wishes fulfilled is the card that came out here, the Five of Keys. And it's such a beautiful scenery here, like a beautiful, almost a cabin, like kitchen. It's so warm, windows are open, blue skies. It's just so beautiful here. There's a life here. Okay, there are people that are living here, people that are comfortable here. Wishes fulfilled. So what are you serving? Like, when, and Oprah used to say that all the time, when you serve, like, don't think about what like, you know, making money, about like, oh, I'm gonna do this to get this, I'm gonna, even if it's money or that, you know, abundance or status, whatever it is that push you, whatever it is that makes you, that motivate you, if you will. Don't think to go for that. Think about, what are your passions, what are the things that makes me want to get out of bed. She always says that, think about the things you're passionate about, and those things will serve you. Serve your passion, and your passion will serve you. And it is the same, right? Once we start tapping into what exactly, how can we serve, not just other people, not just humanity, not just our community, but how can we serve our passion, those things that get us going, those things that drive us. How can we nurture that? How can we invest in that? And once you start doing it, it starts serving you, because it comes easily. Abundance just flow through. Okay, and that is what, and for us to understand, you know, the balance of it all, that it's, life is about learning, and there's a process, there's an ebb and flow. Okay, we're gonna have to go through the whole circle before we find our path, and to take it easy on ourselves when we stumble, to know that there is a bigger picture, to know that we are not alone, to know that we are protected. So I say all this for you guys to start asking yourself these questions. Maybe they will help you as well, because it's been, and you have to really allow yourself to go deep down, to be honest with yourself, okay, in order to get the full benefit of this exercise, of asking yourself those questions, of answering those questions as well. And which is the purpose of this channel. When I started, where is it? I think I have that deck here. And I started really doing like full moon ritual, just to give you guys a little bit about myself. And somebody, it was that girl, she Danielle Ayoka, she's on Twitter, believe it or not. That's how I started, and I used to follow Danielle. I still do, and get her weekly aura cleanse, which I think I'm still signed up for those, even though I'm a Reiki master and I practice Reiki pretty much daily. And on myself, it's kind of like part of my meditation. And someone mentioned that they use these cards as little During Virtue daily guidance card for their daily meditation. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went and purchased this deck. Actually purchased 4, and I've gifted 2 of them, and I still have one unopened that I meant to give to someone. For whatever reason, I never did. And I'm pretty sure there's a reason for that, right? Everything has their reason. So it's still there, waiting for its rightful owner to receive it, still wrapped up. And I started using this, and I will shuffle, and I will, like, daily, I left it right there on my nightstand, and I kept getting that one specific card. And it says something of about oh, I can't even talk anymore. That's a whole stack. We're gonna put them back. It was a card about energy work. I can't even say energy. Why did I just stumble on that word, energy? Okay, interesting. But anyway, so, and I was just like, that's interesting. And even then, I didn't know about Reiki, by the way, okay? And about how, like, I'm supposed to be of service to others and not to worry. I wish I can find, I hope it comes up by itself. I'm gonna keep shuffling that card. Not to worry, and that the angels will be guiding me along. And I don't know how it started. So and I still wasn't understanding, but I think for 3 months straight, I was getting like the same message over and over and over. And of course, along the way, I started getting another card. The next deck I got was the Good Tarot. See Only Love just came out here. So a lot of us are thinking about love during this time. Because for me, that one thing that sent me down the drain to the that dark night of the soul, if you will. It started with a love situation, which for most of us it does, because there's nothing that can bring us out of ourselves like love, like true deep love that can make us, like, think about like the full aspect of our worth, of our purpose, of how we relate to other people, and all of it brings everything out, right? But anyways, so yeah, so I got the good tarot, and I get the Rider-Waite, and that's how I started into doing readings and such. And I don't even know how I got into this conversation, but there's a point to it. Some of you guys, what you will understand as you get deeper, you delve deeper into spirituality, that you become more awakened. You will realize that it's never gonna remain on the individual. It's never gonna remain in the micro. Okay, eventually it's almost like as your energy, as your auric field expand, as your awareness expand, as that crown chakra expand, as that protective field around you, if you will, expand, as you yourself become more expansive in the world based on your own level of consciousness, you will realize you too, like you are touching more and more people. It all of a sudden you realize you become like part of that of that it cannot remain like hidden. It cannot remain self-serving. You have to serve. Okay, and which is what was that quote this morning was so touching to me, and that's why I'm bringing it here, because for me that's kind of what it was too, because it was like I'm gonna try to find that card for you guys that I was getting. And it has to be about how you're serving other people. Okay, when you start doing all this learning, because there's a lot to learn as you go into spirituality, and most of the learning you realize it's self-learning. It's learning about you and yourself. That's the first part of it. Like who am I, what am I doing? Okay, so this was one of them. It says, focus on service. Your soul desires only to joyfully serve and to swim in a constant stream of bliss. This stream continuously feeds you everything you need. Put your entire focus upon staying in the stream of giving and receiving in every situation and all that you do. That was one of the cards, and there's another one, and I'm gonna show it to you. I think it says in energy work. Okay. Life purpose. The purpose of your life is to serve in a way that brings great joy to yourself and others. Don't worry about finding your purpose. Instead, focus upon serving a purpose, and then your purpose will serve you. That's what we were talking about earlier. Focus on serving a purpose, and your purpose will serve you. And I know I'm not shuffling the card. I'm putting the card out to you because it's not about you. This is not a reading I'm doing for you right now. I'm telling you about how I started on my journey. Oh, there it is. That was the card right there, and it was the second card from the top, but I started from the bottom. So here it was the energy word. That was the card I keep getting, and that image is like encrusted in my brain. Life can be electrifying because its very essence is energy. Your body is a remarkable energy field that will positively respond to loving treatment. Your hands and heart are activated to give healing energy to your loved ones and clients. Like this card right here, this is how I get started, and this is how I knew that I will. And this is when I started learning about Reiki, and even when I was getting those aura cleanse from Danielle long distance, I didn't even realize, this was something that could be part of my journey. I didn't even realize exactly what it was. I didn't even understand it until, as I go in my journey and I started learning more different, healing modalities and trying to heal myself. And I learned about Reiki, and it was almost like an instant, attraction. And here I am today, being able to do that, not just to provide Reiki to other people, but also to myself, to heal myself. And I've been using it ever since. So for a lot of you, this is what you're going to realize here. These are the questions, okay? And it's so amazing. Like all of this we've been talking about, they're already here. And incidentally, this deck was calling me to use them during this last week of September reading, weekly reading. So I've been pulling from those. So you guys will be seeing this deck, okay? If I've only have 4 of them posted already, if you haven't, your reading has not been posted, you'll be reading them. Energy work. life purpose and focus on service. So for some of you, it's not so much like you're going to quit your job and start, doing tarot reading or do Reiki reading or do any kind of like, spiritual work, any work that falls within um that that line there. But for some of you, it may be that you understand that you, the spiritual person that you are, you can apply that in anything, in any space, in your own reality, your daily life. Okay, you can apply those learnings, those teaching. Like, let's say, even if you are an accountant, if you work at the bank, you can still be, sympathetic. You can still be a loving being. You can still send light to people. You can still approach the situation from a place of balance, from a place of not ego, not from a place of like, of detachment, where you can connect to other people, because that is all it is about, for us to be able to see the light in another, just like we can see the light in us, because it's the same light, God's light, that same life, universal life force energy that we use. That's the same one, is coming straight from the divine. God created us at His image, so it says in the Bible, we carry part of our Creator in us, just like the child carries part of the parents in them. Okay, so we have to believe that, and we have to trust that, and we have to embody that in every situation. And that is my prayer to myself, and I wish that upon you guys, that as you go through your day, that you always, like, the words that you speak, with every movement that you take, with every interaction, anywhere, at any moment, okay, the way you see the world, you interpret the images that you see, the information that you receive, and it goes through a lens of love, to a lens of light, and that we are all connected, and that not to see the other as separate and as something, not to be too quick to judge, okay, and that include to judge ourselves. This is the second card that came out for us here. The first one was see only love, okay, focus past, and let me read it for you. I put it up there. I don't think I read it for you guys. See only love. What was the first card from this deck that actually pulled out while I was shuffling? It says, look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings, and see only the love within each person, including yourself. Your resolute focus upon the love that underlies every situation brings about healing in undreamed of ways. See only love. That's the card that wanted to come out, that Spirit wanted me to share with you as I was shuffling. Because see only love, to focus on the love, to focus. Love is the highest vibration. I remember when I used to feel all alone, I was going through some major stuff, especially when I first moved here where I am right now in the States, which is like a good 14 years ago. And I remember I used to be walking, I'll be walking in the street, I'll be driving, I'll be at work. I would repeat that all the time. God is love, love is God. God is love, love is God. It became a mantra for me. And for whatever reason, it strengthened me. I could literally feel myself, my vibration rising by just saying that. And I would repeat it sometimes out loud, sometimes in my head, over and over and over and over. It became like breathing. I would say it so much, okay? So believe that. And that's one of the major reasons I end my messages by saying love is the only answer. Like, if we think about love, not so much love in the sense of passionate love that we think about it, right? In the sense of like romantic love per se. Yes, that is very beautiful and that is good too. But love as in the most instinctive way, in seeing yourself in your neighbor, in seeing yourself in the stranger, and not just like, in our loved ones, okay, but also in each person in this world, to be able to put yourself in their shoes, to be able to understand their journey, and not focus on their shortcomings, not focus on the errors or misunderstandings, but to really understand that underlies every situation. You point on the love that underlies every situation. And that's why I always say love is the only answer. Not so much because it's from a naive place of that I think there's no other challenges in the world, and that if there's love, everything is okay dokie. No, life is not supposed to be perfect and just like one linear, perfect flow. No, that's why the sign of life is the spiral. It keeps on turning, it keeps on turning. You're gonna hit every point, the east, the west, the north, the south, and everything in between as you keep going, and you up and you down, you know. So it's like that is part of life, that spiral that keeps on moving, that's creating, you know, that regenerating, like, you know, with every dimensions and every reality. That is the reality of life, and we have to accept that and learn how to live within that as spiritual beings. Okay. And the other card that came out for us here is innocence, and it says, oh, let me hold it a second so you guys may read it for yourself, and I hope the picture is good here enough. And it says, beloved, everyone is guiltless in truth, as no one can alter God's handiwork of perfection. Give us your feelings of heaviness so we can lighten your load. Give us any guilt, anger, or blame that may shroud your loving outlook. Enjoy the peace within your heart once more. And this could not be more apropos. And I'm going to put those cards back, okay? They're not part of this reading. It's not even a reading. I'm just pulling energy that is flowing through now. But I wanted to show you guys this, to show you this is part of how my journey started. This was the call I was getting. This is one of the ways Spirit was communicating with me. This set of cards here from this deck here, the very first deck I ever purchased. So that's why I was looking for them. But through shuffling, this was what came through, and there's a reason for it, because I really think us asking, how can we serve? How can we be of service? And it's not so much to become a light worker, but it's to really understand every situation, that love, to see the light within the other, to focus on the love, to see ourselves as co-creators with the divine, to act in godly ways in our own capacity as much as we can, to take little steps, you know, even if it's just that one thing that we do that day, and maybe in the following day we do that two things that is kind, that's showing kindness to another, that's showing gratitude for our own existence. Okay. And to remember that all this heaviness, God does not want it for us. Yes, there are lessons to learn here, but we have to also remember that we are not in control of everything. We can release. Okay. It says here, give us any guilt, anger, or blame that may shroud your loving outlook. We don't have to carry the load alone. And just like we help others that are around us, our loved ones, when they're going through things, it's the same way. Is that if you believe in spirituality, you believe that there are higher beings here. They're like, whether it's archangel, whether it's spirit guides, whether it's your own ancestral lines, right? Whether it's if you're into voodoo, it's like, you know, the loas, you know, the spirits or whatnot, whatever it is that your belief system, just know that there are higher beings here that God used to provide protection, to provide us healing, to provide us, like, you know, for a different part of life, to really guide us along and allow them to help us. We have to ask them for that help. Okay. We have to ask them. We have to make a connection with them. And I know I'm saying a lot in this video, but it's almost like there was so much that I've been wanting to say, because the purpose of this channel is really to help you guys, along in your journey, to better in bettering yourself. Not so much better yourself as a person, but like, I guess eventually that's what will happen, but in your own spiritual journey, to help you, to guide you along, to give some advice. And yes, we can have some fun and some laugh along the way, because I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist. My background is really in business and in caring for people. But it's this journey here, and I'm still on my own journey. I'm still learning a lot. I'm still growing, and we always gonna be growing. But it's really to give people a little bit of, like, to build a community of like-minded people here who are trying to pursue something that's higher than just ourselves, you know, than just our self-interest, than just this physical world, like going through the motion. Let's go to work and eat and sleep and then wake up, do the same thing again, and we're feeling empty and we're feeling sick, we're feeling stressed, like, you know, and we don't know why. We're asking ourselves, why am I so tired? Why this? And the funniest thing happened, not funny really, like this week I've had this feeling of heavy sadness. Like, when I say heavy sadness, like, it's this deep-seated sadness that is so there. Like, it's not deep-seated, it's like that, it's not deep-seated like it's hitting in me. It's kind of like that sadness that's how do I explain it? It's kind of like, it's not on the surface. It's almost like it came and sometimes, you know how it could be I can't think of the word. I'm thinking voile. Like, what's the word? Like it just flow over you. It's not that kind of sadness. It was the kind of sadness that come and kind of like fix itself on you. That's kind of what it felt like. And for the longest, I could not differentiate when it's my own thing and when it's thing from the collective or from other people around me that's attaching to me. But now I know, having gone through different ascensions and become more aware, being awakening, I know, I understand the difference. And I know it wasn't my thing. I know it was sadness, it was energy I was picking up from the collective, or perhaps even from those people near me. And I carried it in a, and I can manage now, you know what I mean. I can step outside of myself and look within. And I felt like a sense of almost, my whole purpose was just to house it. Do you understand? Like, I didn't even feel like I needed to even clear it so much. I felt almost like I was carrying other people's burden that for right now they just couldn't. They needed to lighten the load just for right now. And I don't even know how it's going to get released because it's not as intense. Yesterday was the peak of it, really. It's not as intense as it was yesterday. And that's how I started this reading. And that's one of the reasons I kind of stopped recording, because I wanted to get back to feeling balanced, even though I know that wasn't my thing, that these feelings I was having. And I was still going on through my days, carrying on my responsibilities, but it was there, like, okay. But I didn't want it to affect, the messages that come through, because it's energy, and I didn't want it to affect the energy I'm picking up. So I feel like that's why all of this is coming out, and this reading, this little chit chat we're supposed to have is getting on to be so long. But there is a sense of like, yeah, I was just supposed to house it, to just carry it, and then now, I guess when it's supposed to be released, it will be released, right? Because I'm not getting any message really to do anything, to even like to make contact. And I guess talking about it right now is part of it. That's just coming through right now. They're just saying this right now. So for a lot of you, you may need to do the shadow work. For a lot of you, you may need to do your own release, okay? There's a full moon in Aries coming up. During full moon energy are very good for releasing things that no longer serve us, for releasing. And Aries is all about the I am in Aries sun, Venus and Mars. I say it all the time because I'm such an Aries, but I'm also Capricorn moon, right? It's like that duality, very grounded in my emotions in a lot of ways, but yet that childlike attitude of Aries, it's there. That aggression with Mars is there, so it's like I carry all of these energies within me. But Aries, the thing about Aries is like really that I am, to really the self-identity, to really like ground it within yourself, your own authenticity, to speak your own truth. So for a lot of us, all this deep-seated thing in that we're brewing under, like it was for me, during this full moon in Pisces, during this full moon in Aries, we had a new moon in Virgo that allowed us to ground ourselves in the details of our everyday life, to really set new intentions, to really think about those things that are important and how we are accomplishing them when it comes to the breakdown of it, okay? How we breaking down these goals in mil pieces, and how we're attacking them on the daily, and not so much how we're perfecting our work, but really it's the details of it. I feel like a lot of us were being asked to look over again, to revise again. And now there's a full moon in Aries coming up at the end of the month of September here, where we're really gonna have an opportunity. And I feel like that's why all of this about what am I doing, what are my intentions, and am I serving, or how am I serving, why am I serving, and all of this a series of questions or meditation that were coming through me, and all the downloads that were coming through. That's what it's bringing us back to this, like to really face ourselves, okay? Because Virgo is about going within. Virgo is represented by the Hermit in the tarot. It's about going deep within, following our light. That he's holding that lantern, following our light, right? With the stars, guiding us, right? Following our own inner guidance. to really, but to do that, you have to really know yourself. You have to really be open and honest with yourself. So I feel like for a lot of us during this Virgo season, that's the work we're doing, whether we are conscious of it or not. That's the work we're being called to do. And now comes a full moon in Aries. It's an opportunity to release any things that we have been carrying with us that is not really part of our true self, that is not really part of our the identity that we want to present to the world, that we want to carry with us. Okay, not that is not part of what's gonna bring us to our higher self. Okay, to our true self, our true purpose, because that's Aries. I am what I am. I am, like, stand grounded in your own authenticity. So really start asking yourself these questions. And I'm sorry if this is getting long. Actually, I'm not sorry. It's just supposed to be. Okay, that's the way the message is coming. And that is what I really want to do with this reading. A lot of times love messages come up. Sometimes it's financial message, sometimes a spiritual message, a lot of times. And I know some people don't care for that, but that is that is hopefully there's more of that came through. Okay, I'm gonna take one more for you guys, and there's a wish fulfilled here. That's the first card that came through. So let's not this is no small aspect here. Okay, by following our true light, by really grounded into ourselves, our own sense of authenticity, by really asking ourselves what are intentions behind the things that we are doing. Why are we here? What are we serving? Not just manifesting abundance into our lives, manifesting that beautiful woman into our life, not the career, the money, and all of that, all those things that makes life a lot more, not just easier, but also appealing, attractive, and enjoyable in this physical world. But also, what exactly are we contributing towards the greater good? What are we serving? Okay, what are we serving? Again, perhaps to our own self, to our own very soul growth. Okay, and when we start asking this question, it will bring us closer to our wish fulfillment. Okay, and I like that there's a picture of a home here and that wish fulfillment card. And 5 is a number of change, right? Change of direction. The house of Leo, which is the sun, which is, blessings. Leo is also the strength card, finding a strength to really face ourselves, to really face the sun, to really stand in the sun, in our own clarity, in our own truth. Okay, and that's gonna bring us closer to wish fulfillment. I'm gonna take one more from this card. I wasn't even planning on using it. I pulled those two deck here, and here I am. They sent me to go look for this, and there's a reason for it. Okay, there's no coincidences. Even when I started the reading for that last week, I was called towards this deck here, the daily guidance by Doreen Virtue. So there was a reason that we were supposed to be using this deck. There's a message here that's coming out. See only love. Look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings, and see only the love within each person, including yourself. Your resolute focus upon the love that underlies every situation brings about healing in undreamed of ways. Innocence, beloved one, everyone is guiltless in truth, as no one can alter God's handiwork of perfection. Give us, I knew it was gonna come. Give us, you all saw that, right? Give us, I'm sorry. Everyone is guiltless in truth, as no one can alter God's handiwork of perfection. Give us your feelings of heaviness so we can lighten your load. Give us any guilt, anger, or blame that may shroud your loving outlook. Enjoy the peace within your heart once more. And that's the card I was telling you. There it is. Of course it came up. I knew it was coming up. That's a lost card here as I was shuffling. Life can be electrifying because it's very essence is energy. Your body is a remarkable energy field that will positively respond to loving treatment. Your hands and heart are activated to give healing energy to loved ones and clients. And there it is. It's supposed to be here. Okay, and at the bottom we have opportunity to forgive. This situation brings you the opportunity to heal, grow, and release negative patterns. Hold the intentions of seeing the other person's inner divine light and goodness. We will help you release an unforgiving thoughts, feelings, and energies, and lift you to a higher place of peace and compassion. higher place of peace and compassion. That's what we all need in this world right now, okay? That's all we all need in this world to have a wish fulfillment. And I'm going to take a couple of cards from the Keepers of Light and for you guys. So to close out here, I did not intend for this to be so long, but hey, here we are. And I hope for those of you that are watching and still watching, thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening to my words. That's just my little testimony here. Just believe, to have faith, strengthen your faith even when things are wrong. Just know God is there, because if I tell you the things I've gone through, my life has not been the easiest, but at the same time, my life, in other ways, when I look at it, it's been very charmed. I've been very blessed, okay? And we have to also remain balanced and give gratitude for the things that we have, because it could always be wrong. There are kids right now in hospitals that are suffering. There are people that are walking around this planet. We don't even know how they're gonna feed their children today. So for a lot of us, no matter how cloudy the sky may seem, we have to remember that the sun might come out at any moment, that there's a lot of things to be blessed with, that we still can actually see the cloudiness. We have our eyes, we have our heart, we have our own inner light. Let's see, spirits, some advice messages, some advice message for us as a collective as we go through these energies, as we learn to ground ourselves, to stand in our own authenticity and pursue greater awareness as spiritual beings in this physical world, as we try each to heal our planet. And this is the bottom of the deck. I always like to show those. El Moriah, Awakening Presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. Wear a cloak of protection and love. And here we have the Holy Spirit. Expect miracles. Okay. And it says, remember that only love is real. Miracles will happen naturally. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. Only love is real. That's it. Only love is real. Love is the only answer. Only love is real. I may switch it up to start saying only love is real instead of love is the only answer. Faith is the other card that came out for us. And it says here, humanity and benevolence. Stay calm. Trust the good in yourself and others. See the light in the world. Isn't that what we've been talking about? It's the same as see only love. Stay calm. Keep our balance. See the good. See the light in the world. See the light in the world. The light, the universal life was the life of God. Focus on the light, on what's positive. Focus ourselves. And trust the good in yourself and others. Is the same thing here that we say. Look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstanding, and see only the love within each person. See the synchronicity of messages here. Okay? That was our first card. So, this is the message that Spirit wanted me to share with you. See the light in the world. Trust the good in yourself and others. And let's keep on nurturing that good. Let's keep on nurturing that love. We start with ourselves. And we expand to our close ones. And then to our community. And even to the greater community. Okay, little by little, we can change the pace here to bring greater harmony in our world, and to really not just heal each other, but to enjoy God's creation. God wants us to enjoy this experience. There's so much to enjoy here. I sit here facing my front yard, and the trees alone, like I almost had a little freak out not too long ago over the summer, because the energy company just showed up with their big truck wanted to cut my tree along like, you know, that's facing the street. And I have a lot of tree, and in the fall here, it's my property is like buried literally, and I don't even mind that, you know, the extra work or to pay extra for it, because I enjoy the trees. And they're like, yeah, we need to cut the trees because of the lines. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm not. And and I was on the phone. I was like on two phones talking this supervisor and that person. No advance notice, mind you. And I'm like, no, you don't have that right. You can trim it if it's actually impeding the line. I understand, and which is what they've done in the past. And by the way, it's not something they have to do every year. Even the last time they did it here was like 6 years ago. So it's not like a problem, where it's like, let's take care of this. So every year, every 3 months, we don't have to come here. So I'm like, you can trim those trees that are right there and close to the line. That's about it. Like you did the last time. Thank you very much. Those trees have been here forever. Why now? Why you wanna cut my trees? So even the trees, I get so much enjoyment. I sit there, I do the reading, the butterflies, the birds. There's a lot of times they give me a whole show, and I'll mention it during the readings. And I'm saying this because right now I feel so connected as I'm looking at the trees. They're some of them have started to fall. Fall is here. Autumn is here. My favorite season. I'm really happy about that. And yes, so I think like we're supposed to. God wants us to enjoy our experience here, our journey here as we learn, as we grow, and there's so much to enjoy in the simple things as well as in the big things. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this message, and thank you for indulging me and for your continued support. And let's keep going together. And I will continue working on these readings for the last week and be posting them on time. I'm sending you so much love, so much healing energy, and keep seeing the light in yourself and in others. Okay, and I want you guys to know when I put out those messages, that I always, before as I meditate on your energy, I always do a little of Reiki session. I always send some healing energy for you guys, and this is a labor of love. I'm sending it from my heart to yours, and I hope the messages you understanding them, and you also understand that these are just general messages, and that they may not always relate to you, but the things that do, it will be very clear. Okay, don't try to make it connect, and at least just enjoy the message. And if something doesn't stick, it's okay, just let it be. And that no matter what you're doing, in any aspect of your life, whether it's even your professional life, your personal life, and most certainly listening to messages on YouTube or from any other people that you feel connected with, follow your intuition. Follow your intuition. Follow your intuition, because that is the first step. Your relationship with yourself and your relationship with God is literally all you need. Okay, and this is to help you along in that path as you grow and help you develop more that intuition. Okay, for you to learn to do this on your own. Like there will be a day where you don't have to listen to any reading, that you can tap into your own intuition, whether you use card, whether you just meditate, whether you just go for a walk in nature, in whatever way you feel connected to the light, to that universal life source, to the divine, that you can get your own answers, your own clarity. But follow your intuition. Yes, keep watching, and humor me and enjoy the reading, and I hope you do. And I'm trying to keep them lively. And but if message comes that are negative, just know it's because someone is supposed to hear it. But follow your intuition. I'm sending you so much love. Love is the only thing that's real. See the light in the world. See the light in yourself, and let's keep on doing the little steps. Okay, bye guys.